Chapter 6, Ninja Academy Entrance Exam. Kaizen dressed quickly in the simple clothes provided, maintaining his friendly facade. In the hallway, he exchanged polite smiles and greetings with the other children, blending in effortlessly. His mind, however, was focused on the upcoming Ninja Academy entrance exam. As he made his way to the common room for breakfast, he couldn't help but reflect on the new life he had been given. This world was different, yet it held promise. His past experiences as an assassin had shaped him into a weapon, and now he would sharpen that weapon in this world. Kaizen joined the other children for breakfast, the hum of conversation and clinking of utensils creating a lively atmosphere. The simple meal bowls of rice, miso soup, and grilled fish was satisfying, each bite grounding him in the present. As he ate, he listened intently to the children's chatter. Their dreams of becoming Shinobi and their excitement for the entrance exam were palpable. He absorbed their conversations, noting the differences in their attitudes and expectations. This information was crucial for understanding his new peers and the challenges ahead. Mentally, Kaizen reviewed what he knew about the exam. It would test not only physical prowess but also mental acuity and adaptability. He scanned the room, observing potential future classmates, gauging their skills and personalities. Some were boisterous and confident, while others were quiet and focused. Each child represented a different facet of the Ninja Academy's challenges. After breakfast, the children gathered in the courtyard, buzzing with excitement and nerves. Kaizen felt a mix of emotions as he stepped out into the village again, seeing it with fresh eyes. The village was alive with morning activity, vendors setting up their stalls, Shinobi moving purposefully, and villagers going about their daily routines. The children's excited chatter filled the air as they walked towards the academy. Kaizen joined in with a bright smile, his demeanor warm and engaging. He laughed easily at their jokes and shared in their enthusiasm, his outgoing nature making him seem like any other eager child. No one could see through the facade he wore so effortlessly his true thoughts and focus hidden behind the mask of friendly exuberance. His friendly interactions were genuine enough to disarm any suspicion, leaving no room for anyone to see the sharp mind that lay beneath. He blended seamlessly with the group, making connections and enjoying the camaraderie, all while keeping his true intentions firmly in check. The Ninja Academy loomed ahead, an imposing structure casting long shadows in the morning light. Its tall, austere walls and watchful windows seemed to exude an air of authority and purpose. The courtyard in front of it buzzed with activity, filled with children from all over the village, each one brimming with a mixture of excitement and nervous energy. Among the throng, Kaizen spotted a few familiar faces from the previous day, their expressions reflecting the same anticipation that hummed in the air. Kaizen's eyes swept over the scene, noting the instructors moving with practiced efficiency, their authoritative presence immediately commanding respect. They were already busy organizing the children into neat lines, their voices clear and direct as they explained the procedures for the entrance exam. Kaizen watched their interactions closely, assessing their demeanor and body language. These were the individuals who would shape his training and development, and understanding them was crucial. He noted the precision in their movements, the way they carried themselves with an air of quiet confidence. Each gesture, each instruction, was imbued with a sense of purpose. Kaizen could see the respect they commanded from the children, and he stored away every detail, knowing that these insights would be valuable in the days to come. As the preparations for the exam continued, Kaizen's mind was a whirlwind of strategies and plans. He stood amidst the crowd of excited children, his outward demeanor a mask of calm and friendliness. Behind that facade, however, his thoughts were calculated and precise. He understood the value of concealing his true intentions, his deeper motivations cloaked in layers of practiced nonchalance. But when it came to his talents, Kaizen had no intention of hiding. His goal was to excel, to shine brighter than anyone else, and to leave no doubt about his abilities. This was not just about proving himself, it was about seizing every opportunity to become stronger as quickly as possible. He knew that in a competitive environment like this, especially with Kakashi Hatake, the son of the legendary White Fang, being a benchmark, standing out was essential. Kaizen's strategy was clear: showcase his talent to its fullest without revealing his most guarded secrets. He recognized that by demonstrating his skills, he would attract the attention of instructors and influential figures within the academy. This attention would afford him access to better training, more resources, and the kind of rigorous challenges that would accelerate his growth. The faster he grew stronger, the sooner he could navigate and master this new world. As he watched the instructors, Kaizen's sharp eyes missed nothing. He analyzed their methods, noting how they assessed and categorized the children. He observed their interactions, the way they moved, spoke, and commanded respect. Each piece of information was meticulously cataloged, forming a detailed understanding of the environment he was about to immerse himself in. Kaizen understood the stakes. This wasn't just about passing an exam, it was about setting a foundation for his future. The Hidden Leaf Village held immense potential, and to tap into it, he needed to be noticed and respected. Blending in would mean mediocrity, something he couldn't afford. Standing out, however, would mean being placed in situations that would push him to his limits, forging him into the warrior he aspired to be. The thought of being compared to Kakashi didn't intimidate him, it fueled his ambition. He welcomed the comparison, knowing that matching or even surpassing someone of Kakashi's caliber would only elevate his status. In this new life, Kaizen was determined to rewrite his story. The shadows of his past as an assassin were not a hindrance but a foundation upon which he would build his future. His plan was simple yet effective: excel in every visible aspect while keeping his ultimate strategies and capabilities concealed. His true thoughts and long-term goals remained locked away, a hidden depth that no one would see unless he chose to reveal them. This dual approach of overt excellence and covert planning was a delicate balance, one that he was well equipped to maintain. As the instructors called the children to order and the entrance exam began to take shape, Kaizen felt a surge of anticipation. This was his moment to step into the light, to begin his journey in earnest. With every calculated move, every display of skill, he would carve out his place in this world. The path ahead was clear, and Kaizen was ready to walk it with unwavering determination and strategic brilliance. The first test was a combination of physical and mental challenges designed to evaluate the foundational skills of each child. The instructors, stern and observant, lined the children up in rows, their eyes scanning for potential and promise. The air was filled with anticipation, a palpable tension as the young hopefuls awaited their turn to prove themselves. The physical tests began with a sprint across the academy's training field. A long stretch of track lay before them, marked by a series of flags to guide their path. The objective was simple speed. The children took their positions, and at the instructor's signal, they bolted forward. Kaizen's muscles, though smaller and less developed than in his past life, remembered the discipline of relentless training. His strides were powerful and efficient, his breath steady. He felt the wind rushing past him as he pushed himself to the forefront, crossing the finish line first within his group, his heart pounding with the thrill of victory. Next came the long jump, where they were measured on their ability to leap great distances. Each child took a turn, launching themselves off a marked line and landing in a pit of soft sand. Kaizen watched the others carefully, noting their techniques and results. When his turn came, he crouched low, gathering strength in his legs. With a powerful push, he soared through the air, his form impeccable. He landed gracefully, his distance surpassing all in his group by a significant margin. Agility drills followed, set up in a challenging obstacle course. The course was a series of hurdles, climbing walls, and narrow beams that required balance and coordination. Kaizen approached the starting line, his eyes scanning the layout. As he navigated the course, his movements were fluid, each obstacle met with precision and control. He vaulted over hurdles with ease, scaled the climbing walls swiftly, and maintained perfect balance on the beams. His past training as an assassin had honed his body to react instinctively, each movement a calculated response to the challenge before him. He completed the course with a grace and speed that left even the instructors highly impressed. The final physical test was a test of endurance, a grueling set of exercises including push-ups, sit-ups, and a plank hold. The instructors walked among the children, counting repetitions and noting their form. Kaizen dropped to the ground, assuming the position for push-ups. His hands pressed into the cool earth, and he began, each movement steady and deliberate. He transitioned seamlessly into sit-ups, his core muscles engaging with each lift and lower of his torso. The plank hold tested his endurance, his body a straight line of tension and strength. He held the position, his breath controlled, his focus unbroken, outlasting many of the other children. As the physical tests concluded, the instructors gathered the results, comparing notes and measurements. Kaizen stood tall, his heart still pounding from the exertion, but his mind was sharp and alert. He had performed each task with a level of skill and precision that set him apart. His goal was to excel, to demonstrate his capabilities fully and without hesitation. Throughout the tests, Kaizen's keen eyes observed the other children. He noted their performances, identifying those who might become rivals or allies in the days to come. His gaze frequently returned to Kakashi, whose movements were marked by the same effortless grace and efficiency he had observed before. The silver-haired boy's focus was unwavering, his skills undeniable. Kaizen's approach to the mental challenges was equally methodical. As the instructors introduced a series of puzzles, strategy games, and problem-solving tasks, he felt a familiar surge of focus and determination. These were his arena, where his analytical mind could truly shine. The first task was a complex puzzle involving a series of interconnected gears. Each gear had to be aligned perfectly to complete the mechanism. Kaizen's eyes scanned the pieces, his mind rapidly calculating the optimal arrangement. He reached out, his small fingers moving with deliberate precision as he placed each gear. The other children struggled, some making progress only to find themselves stuck at critical junctures. Kaizen, however, navigated the task with ease, completing the puzzle in record time. The instructors exchanged impressed glances as they noted his performance. Next, the children were presented with a strategy game involving a grid of tiles that needed to be arranged in a specific sequence. The goal was to move the tiles in the fewest possible moves to recreate a given pattern. Kaizen studied the grid, his mind visualizing the sequence of movements required. He began shifting the tiles, his hands a blur of motion. Each move was calculated, each step taken with an endgame in mind. As he completed the task, he saw the astonished looks on the faces of his peers and instructors. He had not just solved the puzzle, he had done so with an efficiency that spoke of a deeply analytical mind. The final challenge was a problem-solving task that required the children to devise a plan to escape a hypothetical scenario. The scenario was detailed, involving multiple obstacles and limited resources. Kaizen's mind went into overdrive, drawing upon his previous life's experiences in high-stakes situations. He quickly mapped out a strategy, considering every possible variable and outcome. When it was his turn to present, he articulated his plan clearly and confidently, outlining each step with meticulous detail. The instructors were visibly impressed, nodding in approval as he finished. Kaizen's focus never wavered throughout the mental challenges. He approached each task with the same relentless drive that had defined his past life. He didn't just aim to solve the problems, he aimed to be the best, to set a standard that others would find difficult to match. His results reflected this ambition. He consistently outperformed his peers, his solutions not only accurate, but also elegant in their simplicity and effectiveness. As he moved from one challenge to the next, Kaizen couldn't help but observe the reactions of those around him. The other children watched him with a mix of admiration and intimidation. He noted their struggles and triumphs, always evaluating, always learning. Kakashi, in particular, caught his eye. The silver-haired boy was good, very good, but Kaizen could see the subtle tells of frustration and determination. Kakashi was undoubtedly a formidable rival, but Kaizen was determined to be number one. By the time the mental challenges concluded, there was no question about who had dominated the tests. Kaizen's performance had been exemplary, his scores consistently placing him at the top by a significant margin. The instructors took note, their expressions a blend of curiosity and respect. This was a child who clearly possessed extraordinary potential. Kaizen, for his part, remained outwardly calm, though inwardly he felt a surge of satisfaction. He had set out to excel, to prove his capabilities, and he had done so unequivocally. Yet, he knew this was just the beginning. The real journey was just starting, and he was more than ready to face whatever came next. As he prepared to move on to the next phase of the entrance exam, Kaizen's mind was already formulating new strategies, new ways to push himself further. He had shown his talent without restraint, and he would continue to do so, keeping his true thoughts concealed, always ready to adapt and overcome. The final part of the exam was a test of chakra control. The instructors gathered the children in a semicircle, explaining that they would need to demonstrate their ability to perform a basic jutsu. This task was designed to assess their innate potential and understanding of chakra manipulation. The children fidgeted with anticipation, their eyes wide with a mixture of excitement and anxiety. "Everyone, watch carefully," one of the instructors said. "We will demonstrate the transformation technique. Pay close attention to the hand seals and the flow of chakra." The instructors moved with practiced ease, their fingers forming the seal's dog, boar, ram. In an instant, one instructor transformed into a mirror image of another, showcasing the jutsu's effectiveness. The children watched in awe, the simplicity of the technique belying the precision required to execute it. Kaizen stood among them, his demeanor calm and composed. He had read extensively about chakra from the book he found in the orphanage library, and he had practiced sensing and controlling it both the previous night and earlier that morning. This was his moment to apply that knowledge in a tangible way. Watching the instructors, he noted the fluidity of their movements and the seamless transition of their chakra. He closed his eyes, shutting out the noise of the courtyard and the presence of the other children. In the darkness behind his eyelids, he focused inward, searching for the familiar warmth of his chakra. It was like a small, flickering flame nestled deep within his core. With each steady breath, he visualized this energy spreading throughout his body, flowing through pathways he had meticulously mapped in his mind. His concentration was intense, each breath drawing the chakra closer to his hands. He could feel it pulsing, a subtle warmth that gradually grew stronger. Opening his eyes, Kaizen performed the hand seals with deliberate precision. His fingers moved smoothly through the sequence dog, boar, ram. As he completed the final seal, he felt the chakra surge to his hands, ready to be molded. In a swift motion, he executed the transformation jutsu. Before the eyes of the instructors and his peers, his form shifted, morphing into a near-perfect copy of one of the instructors standing nearby. The onlookers gasped, their eyes widening in astonishment. The transformation was not flawless. There were minor discrepancies in the details, but for someone so young, it was an impressive feat. Kaizen held the transformation for a few moments, ensuring the instructors could fully assess his work. He noted the approving nods and murmurs of admiration from the instructors, feeling a surge of satisfaction. This success, though small, was a significant step forward in his mastery of chakra control. Releasing the jutsu, Kaizen's form returned to normal. He glanced around, catching the eyes of a few children who looked at him with newfound respect. His own gaze was steady, reflecting a quiet confidence. He knew this was only the beginning, a foundational step in a long journey of learning and growth. Kaizen smiled cheerfully. His outgoing nature and positive energy were infectious. He walked up to a few of the kids, offering words of encouragement and sharing tips on how he performed the technique. His interactions were genuine, making the others feel at ease, despite the competitive environment. The instructors moved on to the next child, but Kaizen's mind remained focused on his performance. He replayed the sensation of chakra flowing through him, the mental image of the pathways, and the execution of the jutsu. Each detail was analyzed and stored away, ready to be refined and improved upon in future practice. As the test continued, Kaizen observed the other children's attempts. Some struggled, their transformations flickering and unstable, while others managed competent, if imperfect, results. He noted Kakashi's performance with particular interest. The silver-haired boy executed the jutsu with a natural ease, his transformation smooth and convincing. Kaizen felt a flicker of competitive determination. He was satisfied with his own progress, but knew that continuous improvement was essential. The path to mastery was long, and he was prepared to walk it with unwavering resolve. This exam was merely the first step, a prelude to the challenges and opportunities that lay ahead. As the exam concluded, the children were given a moment to rest. The once bustling courtyard now had an air of exhaustion mixed with relief. Kaizen found a spot off to the side, leaning against a tree as he reflected on his performance. He had thrown himself into each test with everything he had, using his past life's discipline and skill to adapt seamlessly to the demands of this new world. His precise approach had paid off, and a wave of satisfaction washed over him. Lost in thought, Kaizen reviewed the various moments of the exam. His muscle memory had served him well in the physical tests, and his keen analytical mind had guided him through the mental challenges. He was pleased with his ability to sense and control his chakra during the final jutsu test. Each success reaffirmed his decision to leverage his unique abilities fully. A familiar voice pulled him from his reverie. "You did well," Kakashi said, suddenly standing beside him. His tone was characteristically neutral, but there was a glimmer of respect in his eyes that hadn't been there before. Kaizen turned to face Kakashi, a genuine smile spreading across his face. "Thank you," he replied, nodding. "You too. Your transformation jutsu was spot on. It's clear you've got a lot of talent." Kakashi shrugged modestly, though his eyes softened slightly at the compliment. "You were impressive too," he said. "I can tell you're not just any ordinary kid." Kaizen chuckled, trying to keep the mood light. "I try my best," he said with a grin. "But seriously, we should train together sometime. I bet we could learn a lot from each other." Kakashi raised an eyebrow, clearly intrigued. "Maybe," he said, a hint of curiosity in his voice. "It could be interesting." Kaizen seized the opportunity to build on this tentative connection. "You know," he began, "I was watching you during the agility drills. You're incredibly fast and precise. How do you do it?" Kakashi looked thoughtful for a moment. "I just practice a lot," he replied simply. "My father taught me to focus on perfecting each movement, no matter how small." "That's great advice," Kaizen said, nodding appreciatively. "It's clear that your hard work is paying off. I'll definitely keep that in mind." They stood in companionable silence for a moment, watching the other children as they chatted and rested. Kaizen sensed that this was the start of something important. If he could forge a friendship with Kakashi, it would not only provide a strong ally but also push him to continually improve. Kaizen extended his hand. "Friends." Kakashi glanced at Kaizen's hand, then back at his face. After a moment's hesitation, he shook it firmly. "Friends," he agreed. As they shook hands, Kaizen felt a sense of satisfaction. This was a small but significant step towards integrating himself into this new world. He knew that with allies like Kakashi, the journey ahead would be challenging but ultimately rewarding. Kaizen's friendly nature shone through as he interacted with the other children as well, offering compliments and encouragement. He made a point to remember their names and express genuine interest in their abilities. His charisma and openness made him a likable figure among his peers, setting the stage for future bonds and rivalries. As the children were called back to attention by the instructors, Kaizen glanced at Kakashi and gave him a confident nod. The journey was just beginning, and Kaizen was ready to face whatever came next, armed with his talents and newfound friendships.